Okay, I need to clarify a few things. First off, the Ben V, I'm not against at all. I'm not against Ben V. He's my companion, and we've been through a lot, and we suffer everything together, and we're a team, okay? And we're not the crew that does the snip, at Angliana. That's not what we are, okay? So Um, when I'm speaking, I'm revealing things, and then I'm also like fighting against a spirit that would be attacking like a young man who's like, in Maine or something, and I'm using a video to connect to him so that it shows up on his feed and he gets to watch my video, and then it changes his life path. Okay, these are angled approaches. These are, I call them slices. So with the Ben V, what happened was the Bernie character who I've saved, okay, but also she can fight against me, even though I've saved her. So the Bernie and the Bushmain, the forces that are against Bushmain, okay, that try to make him, you know, be the playboy of a type of Elton John, those are constant forces against him. So that all, like Cerebro, when you see the humans that are all like praying and stuff, all of those lights like went over to Eve in Mississippi, and we got this conundrum where I was um it was really my fault because I was the one who succumbed to this type of friend do sort of thing. And this was a song. It's in Alexander and Colin Farrell. He's in Penguin now. Like, all of this has built up to these moments, okay? So Ben V, the neck, yes, that is the darkness. That's the deepest darkness of what the incision on your neck is. But I saved you in the woods with JWW. We changed this dimensionally, and this is nothing for you to be afraid of or try to do or something. This is all okay. So, um now with Eve, it was the Bernie character and it was the Bush main character that were the tempters and the spellcasters of this, Bush main being the forces that are against him. Now, the barn, yes, they burned down the barn, and there's deep forces that try to say there's going to be no rapture. They're just going to took it off the lot, no mileage. They're just going to live forever as vampires. That's the deepest darkness of what that is. It's scientific. Okay? So the um the the majority report is not a bad thing at all. I made a video where I said, "Is this what you left me for?" sort of thing. I was talking about the Clarence Hayden Looky Loo that was on the show that was talking about getting beaten with a wooden rod um in Israel, and I was pointing out that it was all a big front, is what he was doing. Now, Majority Report, the name of it, it's different than Minority Report. I understand that, but they do a great job. And what the Jewish man does, who's the main man on the channel, and the female that's with him, what they do, whatever they're fighting, they get really close to like a wrestling match, like deep darkness of like India wrestling matches, India underground wrestling matches, where they become who they're fighting. This is a deep technique that the Israelites will use, certain of them, to. This is in James 1 and Jude 1, okay, at the top. And what they will do is they will become who they are fighting, morph into them. And if it's the Vatican, then they're like they're like showing signs of the Vatican, but they don't do that themselves, okay? That's how they fight it. Now, this relates to the tongue, the out of the tongue with Carly Colleen in California, whenever this man on the swim team had a Disney girlfriend, princess girlfriend, and I would do the tongue out like he does because he represented the falseness of Parker, who was dating Rachel, who went on the camping trip with us and I saw eye to eye with, but that he was adverse to Cody. And I was pointing out that this man was adverse to Parker and Cody because he was a false surfer. He had a false surfer mentality, which all led back to the gay corporate. And I thought it was way out of line that he was with this Disney princess girl. It was like complete opposite of what it should be. So that was the gay corporate, like getting in influence from ability to surf, you know, and really the problems that Liz about has with Brooke are from this guy. This guy was like average height, like Vecchio height, and had like kind of a mullet like He-Man. And he was like blonde and tan and really skinny. And he was like a breaststroker. And I had an issue with him, and I had to circumvent it to Billy because Billy was like his flocky, okay? And really, when I was on the pool deck, poolside, I got in a fight with Billy, you know, and it was really the ones that were starting this were the Scooby Van, that I had a problem with them, of their attitude towards the women and towards Jeff Boss, which was that they were accepting of the gay corporate and that they were going to mix that with the water polo instead of water polo being foreigners and pointing out that stuff, the darkness, then they were going to succumb to it. So I wore the beach shorts to practice and would swim in them, and I would wear out quickly, but it was because I was fighting them in the same way that Majority Report does. Thank you. Have a good night. Everything is okay. Everyone's doing a great job. This is what's going on right now spiritually. Majority Report is not against Enter the Stars and Paul Begley. That's all. That's a complete lie. He does a great job. He does a wonderful job. All three of them do. Okay, so that's really how I feel. And Ben V does a great job. He just had a great video on Catcher in the Rye. Watch his video. He does a level up. Thank you. Have a good night.